Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to Mixed Media Soul Sparks. Every episode I try and bring you some new ideas and tips for jumpstarting your creativity. And this episode, I am revisiting an older piece of mine and giving it new life in a photo collage. I love it with today's phones and printers. It's just really easy to grab either a photograph when you're out and about, or this happens to be an image of a piece that I made many, many years ago, one of my favorite paintings. And so I printed out on a nice paper. It was a 12 by 12, a square, and it's a little smaller than the original. And what I did is I sprayed it with a digital preservative, a spray, to help keep the colors vibrant. Because when you put a coating of acrylic on, that doesn't do anything for UV protection. So you want to make sure that you do protect your print. Now, I've outlined where I want this to go. And on my other piece I'll be showing you, I did it in a different direction. So I just want to have a little options here. And I'm going to use a matte medium. I've already taken and put some color onto the back of my ampersand panel. And this is a gesso board. Of course, you can do this on canvas. You can do it on paper. You can, whatever surface you want. But this is a gel medium, or a matte gel, not a medium, a gel, so you can see how thick it is. And I'm just going to spread it pretty much within my lines. A little more. And sometimes I'll use a brayer when I want to press this down, but I'm going to show you just doing it with a knife in case you don't have a brayer. One of the things I like to do before I put this on there is, because this is dry and it's going onto a wet surface, so I just take a little bit of water and lightly mist the back, and you see how it wants to curl up. So it's going to help it not to wrinkle quite so much. And before I press it all the way down, I get it centered within my lines. And of course, if you're not doing a shape like this, then you can be much more random in the placement. And I'm just going to use the knife to squeeze out any air bubbles and make sure that it's pressed down. At this point, I'm putting a little bit of the paste over the top. If you wanted to make sure this was perfectly flat, I would say use a brayer. Don't get any gel on it. Then put a piece of plastic wrap and weight it with a book. However, working like this, I want to show you what I'm doing. So this is an alternate way to do it, of just using your knife, and make sure you press out any extra gel, but don't tear your photo. So the idea of doing this is that I want to integrate this image into the background. So in order to do that, I'm going to add texture along here. And for this, I'm going to use, this is a coarse molding paste. You could use light molding paste, you could use regular paste, but I find a paste which is going to dry opaque. It's going to work better than a gel, which is going to dry clear. So I'm going to start up at the top here, and I'm just kind of overlapping the edge of the photo. And I'm going to apply it in different thicknesses. You can hear the grittiness of the paste if you used light molding paste, or you can even do a combination of paste. Doesn't matter. Maybe I'd even try a different one along the edges here. And now this is going to have to dry before I paint it. So I've done another piece to show you. And let me just stop right now, and we can look side by side here. So I think you can see both of these. And here I put this one down below, I put this one up above, and put it up much, much thicker here. And I'll still maybe come in with some different paste. Let me just start working on this one and give you a close-up of how I'm beginning to integrate. Working with the colors, bringing some of this cobalt blue down into here, rather than just matching it. I mean, that could be another option if you wanted to just match the white down here and the blue up here. But rather than doing that, I'm just kind of building up some layers. So once this paste is dry, my first layer is going to be a very wet layer of paint, just because I want it to go down into the valleys, so to speak, in here. I've got just a really wet brush, and you'll see what happens when I put this on, how it sinks down into that. Again, you want to make sure that you let this paste dry before you start painting. Otherwise, it's just going to end up really muddy. Even after I get this wet layer on, I'll probably let this dry and then come back in with another layer on top. Here, I came back with some white over this darker green, and I'll probably bring some of the white back over in here as well. I just want to really push this down into the recesses so that when I put my next color on, this will be covering all of that paste that's down there. Now you might think of other ways that you want to paint over some of this, how you might incorporate your photograph into the background. So I like to do this because then I can reuse some of my other pieces, give them a new life. I can change the size, I can change the scale. So rather than a square, now I have a rectangle. I can add texture and really start to play with the idea of the music. This original piece was based on the probability of where you would find an electron. A lot of my work is based in scientific ideas, so it's this particular shape of the probability of an electron, and then there's an X-ray of a person and music in there. So maybe a theme. If you have a photograph of family or something, you're going to work with a theme. You can pick and choose how you might want to embellish your photo. But the idea is to integrate it, so it's not just a photograph stuck on to a panel. You can use the paste, the gels, the paint to make it all come together. So that is it for this episode, and thank you for watching. Again, check out the website for upcoming workshops, both in person, online, international, and if you'd like me to come teach in your area, contact me, you never know. So thanks again, see you next time. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag Mixed Media Soul Sparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me.